Was it just the other day? You were an achiever, such a busy leaver. Now we hear you found a stray.
Imagine rewinding the clock to a decade where vibrant neon colors lit up the fashion world, and the air was filled with the unmistakable sounds of cassette tapes playing your favorite mixtapes. Picture a time when Saturday morning cartoons were a sacred ritual, and the excitement of renting a VHS tape was the highlight of the week. Welcome to our nostalgic journey through the unforgettable era of the 1980s. In this video, we'll take a trip down memory lane to explore 20 things from the 1980s that we can no longer do. These activities, once integral to our daily lives, now serve as nostalgic reminders of a time filled with unique experiences and simple pleasures. From the thrill of arcade games to the charm of creating mixtapes, each memory paints a vivid picture of how we lived, played, and connected in a world that felt much different from today. So, whether you grew up in the 80s or are just curious about this iconic decade, stay tuned as we uncover these 20 memorable activities that defined an era. Let's dive in. Playing arcade games at the mall, remember the excitement of walking into a busy shopping mall? The bright lights and the sounds of arcade games would draw you in right away. In the 1980s, arcades were the ultimate hangout spots, where kids and teens alike would gather to play the latest and greatest games. From classics like Pac-Man and Space Invaders to the groundbreaking Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. These games were more than just a way to pass the time. They were a social experience, bringing friends together in friendly competition. You'd line up your quarters on the machine, a silent declaration that you had the next game. The excitement of reaching a new high score or beating a tough opponent was unparalleled. These arcades were more than just entertainment. They were community hubs where friendships were forged and memories were made.
2% of people 16 years or older use a pay telephone at least once a month.
Using phone booths. Before the era of smartphones, phone booths were a common sight on street corners, in shopping centers, and at gas stations. These iconic glass boxes were essential for making calls when you were away from home. To make a call, you needed to have a pocket full of change, usually quarters or dimes. The experience of using a phone booth was unique. You'd step inside, close the door to muffle the outside noise, and drop your coins into the slot. The tactile sensation of dialing a number on the rotary dial or pressing the buttons was part of the charm. Whether you were calling a friend for a ride, contacting family, or making an urgent call, finding a phone booth provided a sense of relief and connectivity. Despite their disappearance in the modern world, phone booths remain a nostalgic reminder of how we used to stay in touch on the go.
The statue!
No, Brick! Please forget it!
Get out of my way! I'm gonna get that statue and get my money!
Watching Saturday morning cartoons, there was something magical about Saturday mornings in the 1980s. The ritual began with waking up early, often before the rest of the household stirred, and rushing to the TV to catch the lineup of beloved cartoons. This was a sacred time, reserved for shows that defined childhoods and created lasting memories. Popular shows like Transformers, He-Man, The Smurfs, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles captivated young audiences with their colorful animation and thrilling adventures. Each episode brought excitement and joy, making Saturday mornings a highlight of the week. The anticipation of these shows made waking up early a pleasure rather than a chore. Sitting in front of the TV, cereal bowl in hand, you were transported to fantastical worlds, sparking imagination and creativity. This tradition created a sense of camaraderie among friends who would eagerly discuss the latest episodes at school on Monday. Renting VHS tapes at video stores. The excitement of visiting a video store was a unique experience that defined weekend entertainment in the 1980s. As you stepped into the store, you were greeted by rows upon rows of VHS tapes, each with colorful covers promising a great movie night. It was a treasure trove of possibilities, with genres ranging from action and comedy to horror and drama. The ritual of choosing a movie was an adventure in itself. You'd browse the aisles, reading the synopses, and debating with friends or family over which film to pick. Once the decision was made, The anticipation built as you rushed home to pop the tape into the VCR. The experience was more than just about watching a movie. It was about the thrill of the hunt and the shared moments that followed. Video stores also served as community hubs, where you might bump into neighbors and exchange recommendations. These outings created long-lasting memories and a sense of community that is fondly remembered today. Recording songs from the radio. Recording songs from the radio onto cassette tapes was a beloved pastime in the 1980s. It was an art form that required patience and precise timing. Armed with a blank cassette and a radio, you'd sit eagerly by the stereo, waiting for your favorite songs to play. As soon as you heard the opening notes, you'd hit the record button, hoping to capture the entire song without the DJ's voice cutting in. Avoiding DJ interruptions and commercial breaks was a tricky part of this process. You had to be quick on the trigger, sometimes sacrificing the first or last few seconds of a song. Despite these challenges, the joy of creating personal music collections outweighed the frustrations. Each tape became a curated playlist, a reflection of your tastes and the soundtrack of your life. Swapping tapes with friends added to the fun, allowing you to share your favorite tunes and discover new ones. This DIY approach to music was a unique and cherished experience, creating lasting memories tied to each homemade mixtape.
Some travelers use the map to make an ingenious guide list of route numbers and key mileages.
Using physical maps for navigation. Navigating road trips in the 1980s often meant relying on large, fold-out physical maps. These maps were essential tools for planning routes and finding destinations in an era before GPS and smartphones. The process began with unfolding the map, which in itself was a challenge, and then plotting your course using the detailed, albeit sometimes confusing grid of highways and byways. Reading a map required skill and patience. Parents often took on the role of navigator, teaching their children how to trace routes, identify landmarks, and make sense of the maze of lines and symbols. This hands-on navigation created a sense of accomplishment when you reached your destination. It also led to unexpected detours and discoveries, turning the journey into an adventure. Family bonding was a significant part of this experience, with everyone involved in the process of map reading and decision-making. The shared sense of exploration and teamwork made road trips memorable, fostering a spirit of adventure and curiosity that digital navigation tools simply can't replicate. Developing film at Photomats. In the 1980s, taking photos meant using a camera with film and then visiting a photomat to get the pictures developed. Photomats were small booths, often found in parking lots, where you could drop off your film. The process was simple but exciting. You'd give your film to the worker, get a receipt, and then wait a few days for your photos to be ready. The best part was picking up the developed photos. As you looked through the prints, you relived the moments you captured. Each photo was a surprise, showing how well your pictures turned out. Getting your film developed at a photomat was more than just getting pictures. It was about saving memories and sharing them with loved ones. The whole experience, from taking the photos to holding the prints in your hands, was a special part of life in the 1980s.
It's hard to keep any Playboy magazine from being borrowed, but with our giant holiday issue, it's going to be harder than ever.
Reading print magazines for entertainment. In the 1980s, print magazines were a primary source of entertainment and news. Whether it was the latest issue of Rolling Stone, National Geographic, People, or Time, each magazine offered a unique window into the world. These publications covered a wide range of topics, from music and fashion to current events and celebrity gossip, catering to diverse interests. The excitement of receiving a new issue in the mail or picking one up from a newsstand was a highlight for many. Flipping through the glossy pages, readers would find in-depth articles, stunning photography, and engaging advertisements that provided a glimpse into the latest trends and stories. Magazines were not just for reading. They were collected, shared, and discussed among friends and family. The tactile experience of holding a magazine, the anticipation of new content, and the ritual of reading from cover to cover made print magazines an integral part of life in the 1980s. Watching movies at drive-in theaters. Drive-in theaters were a quintessential part of 1980s entertainment, offering a unique and social way to watch movies. Families and friends would pile into cars, head to the local drive-in, and find a good spot to park. The experience started with tuning the car radio to the designated station, to pick up the movie's audio, followed by settling in with snacks and blankets. Watching a movie under the stars had its own special charm. The large outdoor screen and the open air created a distinctive atmosphere that indoor theaters couldn't match. Kids would play outside the car until the movie started, and everyone would enjoy the film from the comfort of their own vehicle. The sense of community was strong, with rows of cars all sharing the same cinematic experience. Drive-ins also had intermissions, giving people a chance to visit the concession stand or stretch their legs. Though drive-ins have become rare, the nostalgia for those summer nights at the movies remains strong, symbolizing a bygone era of communal and family-friendly entertainment. Wearing neon fashion. The 1980s were a decade defined by bold and vibrant fashion, with neon clothing and accessories leading the charge. Neon hues like electric blue, hot pink, and fluorescent yellow became the colors of choice for those looking to make a statement. This trend was seen in everything from clothing and accessories to makeup and even athletic wear. Popular neon items included leg warmers, oversized shirts, and spandex, often paired with equally colorful accessories like headbands and bracelets. These bright, eye-catching colors were not just a fashion statement, but a cultural phenomenon that reflected the exuberance and energy of the era. Neon fashion wasn't limited to casual wear. It also influenced fitness trends, with aerobics classes and workout videos featuring participants in neon gear. This trend was emblematic of the 1980s, love for all things bold and flashy, leaving a lasting impact on fashion and pop culture. Neon clothing became a symbol of the decade's unique style and continues to evoke nostalgia for those vibrant, fun-filled years.
Pulling the dial around to the finger stop each time. Be sure to allow the dial to freely return to its normal position.
Using rotary dial phones. In the 1980s, rotary dial phones were a common fixture in homes and offices. These phones, with their distinctive circular dial, required users to turn the dial to each number, a process that was both tactile and time-consuming. Each number was dialed by placing a finger in the corresponding hole and rotating the dial clockwise until it stopped, then releasing it to return to its original position before dialing the next number. The sound of the dial returning to place and the mechanical clicks were part of the charm. Making a call on a rotary phone was a deliberate act, one that required patience and a bit of dexterity. This process created a sense of anticipation as you waited for the call to connect. Despite the slower pace, rotary phones had a certain elegance and simplicity, embodying the analog era of communication. The experience of using these phones is now a nostalgic memory, a reminder of a time when each call felt more intentional and connected.
Even IBM admits this is better than their best electronic typewriter. What could possibly be better than the IBM Electronic 75?
Using typewriters. Typing on a typewriter in the 1980s was a mix of fun and skill. Each key press made a satisfying clack as the letter hit the paper. There was something enjoyable about the act of typing, a steady rhythm of fingers on the keys that produced real, visible results. Unlike today's computers, typewriters needed careful attention. If you made a mistake, you had to use correction fluid or start over with a new sheet of paper. This need for accuracy taught patience and focus. Each keystroke felt important because it was permanent. Despite the challenges, typewriters had a special charm that modern devices can't match. The feel of the machine, the sound it made, and seeing your words appear on the page created a satisfying writing experience that many people remember fondly.
They're functional, fashionable, and just plain fun. They're cable knit leg warmers.
Wearing leg warmers and spandex. The 1980s saw a surge in fitness culture, and with it came the iconic fashion trend of leg warmers and spandex. These items were not just workout gear, but fashion statements that transcended the gym and made their way into everyday wear. Leg warmers, often worn scrunched down around the ankles or pulled up over the calves, were typically paired with colorful, skin-tight spandex leggings or leotards. Inspired by aerobics videos and celebrities like Jane Fonda, this trend emphasized bright, bold colors and patterns. The look was completed with oversized sweatshirts or crop tops, creating an outfit that was both functional and stylish. This fashion wasn't just about looking good, it was about expressing a vibrant, energetic lifestyle. The influence of this trend extended beyond fitness classes, becoming a staple in street fashion and pop culture. The legacy of leg warmers and spandex lives on as a symbol of the exuberance and health-conscious spirit of the 1980s.
Good parents make Cabbage Patch Kids.
The Cabbage Patch Kids. Each doll is different, and you can pretend to adopt them.
My baby has a real diaper.
You can love and care for them, like your very own.
You're a pal.
Playing with Cabbage Patch Kids. In the 1980s, Cabbage Patch Kids took the toy world by storm, becoming one of the most popular and sought-after dolls of the decade. Each doll was unique, with its own name and birth certificate, making it feel like a special addition to a child's family. The distinctive look of these soft-bodied dolls with their round faces and yarn hair made them instantly recognizable. Children spent hours playing with their Cabbage Patch Kids, engaging in imaginative play that often involved caring for their adopted doll. The excitement of owning one of these dolls was amplified by the stories of limited supply and high demand, with parents often going to great lengths to secure one for their child. These dolls were more than just toys. They were companions and cherished collectibles that left a lasting impression on the childhoods of many. The Cabbage Patch Kids phenomenon is a nostalgic reminder of the simpler joys of play and the special connection children had with their favorite toys.
I like things that help hold down expenses, like this, the phone book. Most of the numbers you need are here. Not always, but if you don't use the book first and just call directory assistance, well...
Using phone books. Before the internet and smartphones, finding someone's contact information meant reaching for the phone book. These hefty volumes, divided into the white pages for residential listings and the yellow pages for business listings, were household staples. The process of looking up a number involved flipping through the alphabetically organized pages, which required both patience and a bit of skill. Phone books were more than just directories. They were essential tools for daily life. Whether you needed to call a friend, find a local service, or contact a business, the phone book had all the information you needed. The bulk and weight of these books made them a prominent feature in homes, often kept in a central location for easy access. Despite their inconvenience compared to today's digital solutions, phone books provided a comprehensive and reliable way to stay connected. They are a nostalgic symbol of how we navigated communication and information before the digital age.
Today, nearly everyone of school age is in school.
Watching educational film strips in class. In the 1980s, educational film strips were a staple in classrooms, providing a dynamic alternative to traditional teaching methods. These film strips offered a visual and auditory learning experience that was both engaging and informative. The process of watching a film strip involved dimming the lights, setting up the projector, and playing the film while the teacher narrated or facilitated a discussion. The anticipation of a film strip day added excitement to the school routine. Students enjoyed the break from textbooks and lectures, as the colorful images and synchronized audio made learning more interactive. Film strips covered a wide range of topics, from science and history to social studies and health, helping students grasp complex concepts through visual storytelling. These sessions not only enhanced understanding, but also made the lessons more memorable. The use of film strips in education was a bridge between the traditional methods of the past and the multimedia tools of the future, making them a cherished part of classroom life.
It must be pretty good for someone to want to spend all of one night and 5 days doing nothing but trying to rescue a princess from hundreds of bad guys.
Console televisions and TV trays. In the 1980s, living rooms were often dominated by heavy wooden console televisions. These bulky devices, encased in polished wood, were the centerpiece of home entertainment. Their large size and weight made them a permanent fixture in the room, often occupying a central spot against the wall. To make TV watching more comfortable and convenient, many households used metal TV trays. These foldable trays were perfect for holding dinner plates, snacks, and drinks, allowing families to enjoy their meals while catching up on their favorite shows. The trays often featured colorful designs or cartoon characters, adding a touch of fun to mealtime. Gathering around the console TV with TV trays became a beloved family ritual. It was a time for everyone to come together, relax, and enjoy both food and entertainment in the comfort of their home. This setup reflected the era's blend of practicality and leisure, creating lasting memories of cozy evenings spent in front of the television. Decorative soaps. Decorative soaps were a common sight in bathrooms during the 1980s. These soaps, often shaped like flowers, shells, or other intricate designs, were not meant for everyday use. Their purpose was purely decorative, adding a touch of elegance and a pleasant fragrance to the room. Using these soaps was considered a big no-no, as they were intended to remain pristine and visually appealing. They usually came in fancy soap dishes and were carefully arranged to enhance the bathroom's decor. Guests often admired these decorative soaps, knowing they were meant to be looked at, not used. The presence of decorative soaps reflected the homemaking emphasis on aesthetics and attention to detail, making even the smallest rooms in the house feel special and well thought out. These soaps were a testament to the era's focus on creating beautiful and inviting spaces. As we wrap up this nostalgic journey through the unforgettable 1980s, we've revisited some of the most iconic and beloved activities that defined an era. From arcade games and mixtapes to rotary phones and physical maps, these memories highlight a time of simplicity and genuine connection. We hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane. If you did, check out our last video, where we explore more fascinating aspects of the past, like the hidden features of historic homes and how they reveal the lifestyles of bygone eras. Join us in preserving the whispers of the past. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more captivating stories and nostalgic moments. Until next time, keep the spirit of the 80s alive.